It was early in the morning, and I needed some coffee. I went into the kitchen to make myself a cup and turned on the kettle. While I waited for the water to boil, I looked out of the window. It was foggy outside, so I couldn't see anything. I had just taken a long hot shower, and the bathroom mirror was still fogged up. As I stared at it, waiting for the glass to clear, I noticed something that made me jump back in shock. My reflection started writing messages on the fogged glass. At first, I thought I was going crazy. How could my reflection be moving? And why was it writing stuff on the glass? I blinked, and when I looked again, the message was gone. Maybe I had imagined it. I told myself to calm down and get a grip. But then the messages started coming back. This time they were more coherent and spelled out full words. They said things like, "Help me," and "Don't trust her." Was this real, or was I losing my mind? I tried to rationalize what I was seeing. Was it possible for my reflection to just start moving on its own? I knew there wasn't anyone else in the bathroom with me. The door was closed and the room was empty. So who was writing these messages? As I stood there, frozen in fear, the reflection continued to write over and over. The messages changed, and some of them even included specific details about things that had happened in my life, things that nobody else would know. I felt a chill go down my spine. What was going on here? Had I accidentally opened a portal to another dimension or something? I had always been pretty skeptical when it came to things like the paranormal. I never believed in ghosts or other supernatural beings until now. Suddenly, the room felt freezing cold, and the air grew heavy. The reflection stopped writing and turned to face me. Its eyes glowed red in the darkness. I screamed and stumbled back, knocking over the trash can. It didn't seem to react to the noise or to me. It just kept staring at me with those eerie red eyes. I wanted to run, but my legs felt like they were filled with lead. I couldn't move. Then it started to speak in a raspy, distorted voice. "Let me out," it whispered. "Help me." I finally found my voice. "Who are you?" I asked. "What do you want?" The reflection's lips curled into a sinister smile. "You don't need to know who I am," it hissed. "But you should know that I've been trapped here for a very long time. You're the one who let me out by breaking the seal. Now we're connected, and I need your help to break free." It took me a moment to understand what it was saying. Had I somehow broken a spiritual seal by taking a hot shower and opening the bathroom door? I had no idea how all this was possible, but I knew I needed to do something before it was too late. The last thing I remembered was the image of its red eyes boring into mine. Then everything went black. When I woke up, I was lying on the bathroom floor. The window was open, and a strong wind was blowing through the room. I sat up and looked around. The fogged mirror was gone. Had I imagined the whole thing? I reached out to touch the cold glass where the messages had appeared, but it was clear. There was nothing there. Maybe I had hit my head and passed out. But then I saw something on the floor beside me. It was a small piece of paper with a message written on it. In shaky handwriting, it said, "She's coming for you." It's coming for me, and what did it mean? Was the reflection still out there somewhere? The next few days were a blur. I couldn't sleep, eat, or concentrate on anything. All I could think about was the sinister warning I'd found on the bathroom floor. Was someone trying to harm me? I checked all the locks and bolted the front door from the inside. I even went as far as to install a security system. But it didn't help much. Every time I looked in a mirror or window, I half expected to see the reflection standing behind me, its eyes glowing red in the darkness. I tried to tell my friends and family about what had happened, but they just looked at me like I was crazy. I gave up on telling anyone and just tried to focus on my work. But it was hard to concentrate when I felt like I was being watched all the time. One night, I was awoken from a dreamless sleep by a scratching sound at my window. I froze in terror as I heard what sounded like fingernails dragging metal moans. I stayed perfectly still under the covers, hoping whatever was out there would eventually go away. But minutes ticked by, and the sound only grew louder. It was right outside my window. I buried my head deeper in the blankets, trying to convince myself it was just a branch or a bird. But I knew deep down that wasn't true. Then I heard a voice right outside my window. It was the same raspy voice from the bathroom. "Let me out, please. Help me." I screamed and pulled the covers over my head. The voice continued to beg and plead, growing more and more desperate. But I didn't respond. I didn't want to say anything, in case it was a trap. Finally, the voice faded away, and all was silent. I cautiously poked my head out from under the covers and looked around. First light was just beginning to appear through the curtains. I got out of bed and walked to the window. There was no sign of anyone or anything outside. Had I imagined the whole thing, I wondered? I saw something on the windowsill. It was a small, intricately carved wooden box. I had never seen it before. Where had it come from? I carefully lifted the lid and found a single key inside. I had no idea what the key was for, but I felt drawn to use it. I searched around the room for anything that might have a lock on it, but there was nothing. Just as I was about to give up, I noticed the keyhole on the bottom of the wooden jewelry box where I kept my necklaces and rings. I inserted the key and turned it. The box opened, and I gasped in surprise. Inside was a beautiful silver locket. I had no idea how it got there. I felt a sudden urge to open it. As I hesitated, I heard a whisper in my ear. "Open it." I jumped and spun around, but there was nothing there. I took a deep breath and forced myself to look back at the box. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist. I opened the locket. Inside was a small picture of a woman. She was standing in front of a large mansion. On the back of the photo was a date. It was 100 years old. But the face of the woman in the picture was oddly familiar. As I stared at it, the reflection flickered in the glass, revealing a message. "She's here now," it said. That's when I realized who she was. It was the same woman whose warning I'd found on the bathroom mirror. And if she was here, then so was the reflection. I ran to the bathroom just in time to see its face peering at me from behind the foggy glass of the mirror. Its eyes glowed an eerie red in the darkness, and its lips curled into a cruel smile. "You shouldn't have opened that," it hissed. "Now there's no turning back."